Hello, today we are going to build the pedal PCB all points booster. I did not get mine from pedal PCB. I got mine from, where's the other package? Stompboxparts.com. Why a kit from them? Okay, this is a brief segue. Skip ahead a couple minutes if you want to get right in the building. So Build Your Own Clone is a website that used to sell pedal kits, and all of the components would come. You would get a package. It would be just everything you needed. You build your kit, you finish your case, whatever way you wanted, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Place is in business for however long. I picked up on them a couple years back. I built a handful of the kits. You can see the videos, and I rather enjoy doing that. Build Your Own Clone went out of business. Before they went out of business, they accepted a bunch of orders. Not everybody got their orders fulfilled. Some people had to go and file chargebacks. Yep, me, to get their money back from that Keith dude. Not sure what happened there, but if you're watching, that wasn't very cool of you to do at all. So there are other websites you can go to, and you can get a bill of materials. It'll look something like this. Actually, it might have a little more info, maybe where to go get it. And what you'll do is you would buy this board, then you would go to the websites and you buy your components, whatever. I have no desire to do all of that because I just don't have enough time to go shopping. This is something I do for fun, and I like to record the videos, and if I spend the time on the computer, I'm not spending it here. Anyway, the Stompbox Parts website says we don't offer any support. You have to go to Pedal PCB, whatever, find out how to build it. As you can see, there are not a lot of components to this build. This is a very quick one. We'll get right to building it. Just my initial impression from this Stompbox Parts stuff. Look at this here. Everything is bagged, labeled. There's nothing just thrown loose in. I bet to just get together and make the labels and all that cost more time and effort than the components were. So just, I mean, that's a lot of stuff there. Everything was sorted. Now to this, I kind of screwed this up. So what happened, this is Rust-Oleum, and then I put a bezel in here so I could mount the LED. And I put a little bit of thread locker, and I got that on this. And when I did, I went to wipe it off, and it kind of got sticky. So then I took naphtha, and you know, naphtha will cut through spray paint. And so I'll be refinishing the top of this. It's just a spray of Rust-Oleum. So, but I want to build this. The toddler's asleep for a nap, and let's get right to it. So everything comes from Stompbox Parts. Everything's here, switch, power, all of that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to get right into putting this together. I mean, it's going to be kind of a mess, and I'm just going to get right to it. I mean, I have talked for what, 3 minutes here, sounding like a real idiot. Might as well start doing some components. Okay, and there are a couple ways you could start this. You know, I'm going to do all of this first. I'm going to do all of that first, but I'm just going to grab a component and start going. So here's our 390 ohm resistor, and just, you know, trust but verify, right? Get a meter out, and I'll check all these before I do it here. So what do we got? This is supposed to be 390. Boom, 390. So that's good. We're just going to pop this guy right in. And where does the 390 go? It goes right here. Gonna flip that over and pull that tight here. Yeah, I don't know why the hell I enjoy doing this so much. There's just something about assembling these pedal kits that's a decent amount of fun for me. So, like I said, we're gonna grab another one here. Grab this resistor from this baggie. And it says 4.7K, so check that, make sure. Now you might say, why don't you just use the resistor color bands? Let's do an exercise here. I'm going to bring this to where you can kind of see it, I think. Okay, now I'm going to lean in and I'm going to look. That looks like brown, brown, black, gray, yellow. I don't know if that's brown, brown, black, gray, yellow. So I don't see color right. That's where I was going with this. I was having a discussion with a dude yesterday, and I was talking about one of the chicks from the Iron Maidens. And I was like, oh yeah, I met her when we opened for them some years back. She was the blonde hair woman, and she was seeing one of the people involved with her guitar company. I can't remember if it was the owner of the company or maybe one of the builders. And the dude was talking to me. He's like, oh, then you met Nita if you met the blonde. And I'm like, no, I would remember meeting Nita Strauss. I didn't meet her. She wasn't in the group at the time. And he's like, oh, you had to because, you know, she's the blonde. And the other girl has brown hair and the other girl has red hair. Well, I did not notice the red tone. And when I pulled pictures of her up, I found out that he was indeed right. She is a redhead, and I just didn't see the shade of red in her hair. So let's go here. Try this again. Okay, I'm going to bring this close to my face out of camera here. This would look like brown, yellow, black, black, brown. And I don't think that's right. So what I say, I don't think that's right, is I mean me saying the colors. I don't think that's right. So that's why I check with a meter. So yeah, that was the story there. So Ron, if you're watching this, I apologize that we were having a pretty good discussion on that, and I got a little bit like, dude, I'm telling you, I'd remember if I saw a redhead, and apparently I would not. So a little bit embarrassing there. Well, I'll tell you what was funny. I was like, I would remember if I saw effing Courtney Cox, or not Courtney Cox, I'm sorry, Nita Strauss. Courtney was the one I ended up seeing. So I was so sure of myself. Then when I looked at the pictures, I was like, Ron, might be a good time to tell you I don't see color right. My wife was showing me a bridesmaid's dress yesterday, and I thought it was more of like a creamish color, like maybe beige. And she's like, no, it's mauve color. Or there was mauve in it, or there was pink in it. I can't remember. There was a reddish shade. I didn't see it. And, you know, joke's on me. I'm dumb. I can't see color right. So, but anyway, back to this. So as you can see, things are doing pretty good here. Apologize if you saw the top of my head. I've noticed with a handful of these that I've done, I've managed to pull the camera away. I'm sorry, pull the item away from the camera, and that's not cool because you guys are trying to watch something. So again, just checking resistors here, making sure the value's right. And for another laugh, brown, yellow, black, black, brown. And then I think it'll be funny for you guys to watch this and then let me know what you think. Okay, we're going into 10K spot here. We're almost done with all the resistors. This is a pretty quick build. Now, if you've watched this far, I guess the Easter egg will be that I'm not really going to tone test it. I'm just going to test that it works. So I can do a tone test in another video, but I don't have the interface hooked up. I don't have a recording mic for tone set up. Don't have the amp set up. So what you're going to see, or I'm sorry, what you're going to hear will be iPhone audio. And I'm not going to play it through a big amp. I'm going to play it through a little practice amp that's perfect for a shop shelf. I'll show you that. This little thing, it was a gift over the holidays, and it's kind of silly. It can be used as a Bluetooth speaker or a little guitar amp. Okay, these are supposed to be, what, 10K? No, these are supposed to be 1 meg, I'm sorry. Yep, they measure correct. So I'll tell you what color I see here. Brown, black, black, yellow, brown. Let's see if I can. All right, 1 meg here. Now, sometimes this question gets asked. I've seen it in the comments. I've had emails on it. I've had folks in groups, hey, when you do this, what do you use? as I can't see the damn hole here. You know, what soldering iron do you use? What temperature do you set? Things like that. So I use a Weller, and I have my temperature set to 757. And I'll tell you how I got there. Accident. There was no rhyme or reason. Well, there was a rhyme or reason. So I would solder about 770 is where I would be usually in trade school. And I mean, we're going way back. And I think the reason I did it is because in trade school, I don't know that our temperature on our soldering iron was accurate. And I felt like it was never hot enough to do the job. And maybe part of that was true. But what had happened is when you start out and you really don't know what you're doing with soldering, and it seems like your joints aren't flowing the way you want them to, it's probably bad technique and not bad temperature, or too low of a temperature. And then I ended up backing off to maybe 750, and things worked just fine. So on this Weller, how I ended up at 757, when I got it, I actually used to have it set higher. I had this one set at 797, and I felt that I soldered just fine with it. That could be cleaned up a little bit. That looks awful. So I said, all right, well, you know, where are we gonna keep this thing parked at? And before long, 757 just became the temp. So that's the story, I guess. Not really that exciting. So all I'm doing here is just cleaning up some of this solder. And then I'm going to force this over. A little bit closer in. I'd like it to be more, a little neater looking. Try this again. Don't want to hang on it too long. Don't want to burn the signal traces. I can live with that. There we go. Okay. Our next component, we'll do the diode. This type here, so unlike our resistor, the resistor we did not have to observe polarity. With our diode, we do. So I'm going to bring this a little closer. On a printed PCB, you'll see a little line like this. And on your diode, one side will have an indicator. Quite simply, they line up. It's really all the more there is to it. Now, I'll show you something else. Come a little closer, and I'll do this before I solder. Do you see this leg here? There's a square pad, and then the other one's circle. So all that is showing you which end would get the marked end. That's it. So 2 ways to mark it. And then another way you could find out where it would go, if instead of following directions, you're able to read one of these guys here, you'll be able to see where the diode is in the circuit And then you can trace out the current the way it goes. So, a couple ways you can find out that you have the correct placement, that's all. And if you go the wrong way, it won't work. And you'll probably fry the component. So back to the soldering iron heat. So I actually run, like I said, kind of a higher heat, and that can be problematic if you hang on to components too long. You don't want to damage a component. So if you do have a high heat setting like I do, you want to make sure that you don't linger too long. All right, so this is a little transistor here. This is going to go, there's a marking indicator. So if you notice on our component, there's a flat edge. Let me do this. Flat edge matches up with where the flat edge is on this. And it's really that simple. So we're going to put these down like that. We're going to go just like that. I do these videos and then I catch myself saying dumb things. And then we. What do you mean we? I'm doing it. When I see the other videos and when folks say we are going to. What do you mean we? I'm watching you. I like to watch a lot of cooking videos, and when they say, we're going to hit it with that. You didn't hit it with anything. You sprinkled a seasoning on it. Calm down there. Some of the worst offenders on those videos. Like, oh, we. You look at it and you're like, come on, dude. It's good, but calm down. All right. Now, the next on the hit parade will be a capacitor. Capacitors, also, some of them, you have to observe polarity. So on this guy here, notice how, put this under my hand, see how the one leg's longer, and then the leg that's shorter has a marking on the capacitor itself. So that's two ways. So on a brand new capacitor that's polarized, one leg will be longer. That's your positive leg. The shorter one that's marked is often your negative. And then on this PCB, notice how we have a square with a positive and then a circle. So just a couple indicators. And we'll go just like that. Resistors, I find, are more forgiving with heat than other components. Capacitors, I don't like to go too nuts heating up. Transistors and diodes. Old diodes, if you have to do a repair on something, like a germanium or something, they can be very finicky. That's why when you see those pedals, it's like, oh, I bought 10,000 of this kind of diode and I was able to make 2,000 pedals, even though each pedal uses one of the diode. They test them, see if they check in range and all that. And then some of what makes like a germanium thing sound so good is part of the imperfection of it. I mean, it's kind of interesting. As guitar players, you'd think, you know, digital signal, you could replicate anything, million, infinite repeats, whatever. But we tend to gravitate towards the older, purer, I guess you could say, sounds. All right, coming up here, we have these capacitors. These guys here are not polarized. And just take a look here. I'm going to put them in with the numbers facing the same direction. That's just a personal preference thing. And then what I'm going to do here, let's make it easier to flip over. I know it seems like the silliest thing, but little tips like that, just, oh, a piece of blue tape. Some people wouldn't think to do that, and then they fight trying to turn this damn thing over and all that. Where are we at right here? It's only stupid until it works, and it's not stupid. I'm just say it that way. So what all did I ramble on about? Heat of the soldering iron. I'll recap that quickly and more efficiently here. Hot soldering iron, you want it hot so the solder melts quickly, flows, component heats up quickly, and you're not lingering with heat on the component for too long. Basically, heat it up, get the solder on, get out of there. All right. Some people might do it in the 600s, whatever, that's fine. I'm in the 750 range, 757, like I said. And then this is the type of solder I use. I use Kester, rosin core, it's good stuff. And then you can see they put the data manufacturer on them. They warranty the brand new spools. And I buy them in spools like this. And I have a couple of them here in the workshop. So that's it, nothing crazy. Just a little bit of a Kester rosin core solder, a Weller soldering iron. And show you some of the other tools that I use in these here real quick. I have a lot of brands of these. I have Klein's that are pretty good, but my favorite that I've found are these Crescent flush cutters. They were very affordable. They came in a set. It was this pair of Crescent pliers and this pair of flush cutters. And I want to show you something here. I liked them so much that I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to find them again. So there's the package. It's item number S2K S5NN. Very good stuff. And I've had these for a couple years. And like I said, I've had the other ones. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get them. I've had those for a couple years as well. Okay, so this is a pretty good portion of the pedal done. The next thing will be involving the case. So let's get, actually, you know what we'll do? Or I'm doing that thing again where I'm saying wee. I'll put some of these wires in while we're already here, while I am already here, and while you are watching. They give you pre-cut wire. I guess that's pretty cool of them to do so. Can't say I'm offended by that. Now, if I had to guess, 4 of these short pieces are going to go on this. And if I'm thinking about this, the component side usually would face like this. So if we're looking at the pedal, the components would face this direction, which would mean my wires would come through and they'd be soldered on the solder side. And the other reason for that is because our potentiometer is going to go here and through that hole. All right. So I'm going to, at least hopefully, I think I'm going to do this correctly. I'm going to solder my wires this is going to look ridiculous when I do it, but if I actually pull this off, I'll look pretty cool. So I'm able to do it this way. Okay, so now, moment of truth. Can we do it? Oh. Did it work? No. Okay, sometimes you get lucky and you can do that. What I end up doing is I put all 4 in, and then if I have this at just the right angle, I can go across, tack them all real quick, then finish it up. But apparently, it's going to make me look like a doofus. So, we're going to do something else instead. And this may seem silly to you, but this is something I've done with all of them, even though I'm on the other side with it. On these, I like to heat them from both ends. Then what'll happen is this will get folded like so. When this here is like this will go to our switch. And then pretty good. All right, so from the top end now, we're going to do the exact same thing. I am going to do the exact same thing, and you're going to get to watch. By the end of this video, I will figure it out how to quit saying we. What am I doing here? Being silly again. All right, here we go. You're gonna hear some water running. So you hear that. I'm down here in the basement. That's where the workshop is. And it sounds like she's up there getting some dishes together. Toddler's probably waking up any minute. Let's do this again. Oh. Trust me, you can do this without looking as silly as me. Do it one at a time, work a little more patiently. Let me think about this. Would that be, yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm just going off of this in my head, thinking would I need to use one of the longer pieces for this, but no, the longer pieces will go from the wire to the switch. Now this may seem like, what do you mean? I haven't read any instructions. All I have is a schematic, this and this. I did have a drill template too, but I used that in the drill press to do that. Okay. The same thing as before, just gonna heat this while I push on it. Make sure that they are in very well. It seems like they actually were pretty good before. Okay, now these will go up here. The ones that are labeled plus and minus will go to power, and then these will go to the sleeve of the jacks. So it says ground. And on a lot of these jacks, if you take a look here, okay, now you can suss out what's what pretty easy. So we have a jack. Now, this is, pretend for a minute you don't know what the angle on that means. Okay, so you're trying to figure it out. You can take your meter, you turn it to continuity, and you go like this. Oh, well, it ain't that one. It's got to be that one. So this tells you that the one on the slant is the sleeve. Now, you can know this without your meter if you know what these are. Just to look, you follow which one of these tabs touches the metal here. Now, what do I mean by sleeve? When I say sleeve, what does that mean? And I'll show you here if I have one handy. I do. So this is just a regular fender patch cable, okay? Now, we'll turn that meter back to continuity. And watch this, make sure nothing's touching the metal. So, do you see how when I touch together here, obviously there's continuity because I'm touching the same piece. Same here with this. Same with this though, look. And over here. Now watch, when I get to this tip, it won't beep. See that? Now if I move to the tip here, this tip is electrically isolated from this. Look, nothing, something. Both up here, something. Both here, something, nothing. So on this will touch the sleeve. Okay, now watch. So if I touch that piece of metal to the end, nothing. But there, it beeps. It's electrically conductive, and there's continuity. So just, that's a way you can see those. But if you already know this stuff, you'll know that the slant is where the sleeve is. So for this portion of our build, it's time to put the jacks into this. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. I actually think I'm going to do the power one first, just for room. You'll notice on this one they gave you an Audi. Oh, they actually do have a bezel for that. I might take my bezel off and use their 5mm LED instead of my... you know what? No, I'm going to use what I have. I already did it. All right, so here's our power. Gonna go here. I really am thinking about changing that bezel out, though. I'm pretty sure I have a blue, big honkin' blue one over there. Okay, now this is something else you can use your meter for if you don't know what's what. So if you notice, this is horizontal and these are vertical right now, and you don't know which one is, so pretend you don't know. So we're on the one that I have straight across. If I touch here, I have continuity. But if I touch one of these other ones, so you look inside and you go, was I touching the side metal or was I touching the center pin? So we're on just the horizontal. We're only touching the center. So that tells you there's continuity there. Now, if we go like this and we touch one of the other guys, I'm going to try and do this without touching anything. I hope I have this on camera still. Can I get just in there? We're not touching that center. We're only touching. So this tells you, now if I go like this, these two, they connect, but this doesn't. So this tells you this is that center pin. It's only the center pin. Try and touch the sides. Nothing, just center. So this is your negative, and these are positive. So we're going to go like this, turn it a little bit. Now, I want to show you something. See how these are horizontal and this other one's vertical, and these tabs look different than here. To show you this will make more sense to show you. Basically, all I'm trying to do here is show you, if you don't know what's what, how to find out what's what. So on this type of jack, there's 3 connections. And you're trying to figure out what are the positive. Well, those two have continuity to each other, and this doesn't. And there's only one of this, and the positive's the one that would be diverted. So like you have battery on one end, you have DC on the other. So positive, negative. Just another way to show you that. And then I'm going to bring this up a little closer to show you inside. So here's the center pin. So if you see something that says center pin negative, that means this has negative charge. And then I'm going to turn that to the side. You see that little bit of shininess that is not the center pin, but it's off to the side. That's the sleeve that sticks around. So that there, you can see, oh, that connects to this here. So let me get a power supply, and I'll show you what I mean. So this guy here, okay, the inside of that is negative. The outside will be the positive. So if I take this guy here, and this is plugged in, if I go like this, plug this guy in, and I hold it here, hold on, there we go, and we put our meter on it. We go to voltage, DC, make sure I'm in the camera here. So this here, we've determined from our test that this would be our negative, this would be our positive. We should have 9 volts DC, 9.43. 9.43, I bet, again, on this other guy. If I could do this without moving around. So, and this will be switched off too. That's the other thing. So this is, when I go like this, if I go here to here, remember, I'll have that continuity. Now if I plug this guy back in, let's see what happens. Is there continuity between the two? There's not, and that tells you it's because it's switched, and that's because you're going to get that voltage here, but not there. You ever wondered how a pedal saves battery when you plug in your DC? That's why. All right. So back to this. That was a long segue, and I've managed to drag building this on way longer than it needs to go. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to put them like such. I'll show you back on camera here. And I'll show you another thing here. This is pretty common knowledge. If you're trying to thread something on and it doesn't go right on, don't fight it. You'll, especially on plastic, metal on plastic, you'll rip the threads off. What you want to do is make that comment and then get it stuck on there right as you do. Give me a second to get this darn thing off. It's very amusing. I just warned you about it and I just did it. And I got this lame finger where you see my bandage. So my grip isn't where it should be. All right, back to this. All right, let's try this again. Back on camera. But what you can do, so you're trying to put something on and it's not going, you can go backwards and then sometimes your thread will seat itself. And then you can just screw on without destroying your threads. Okay, so there's that. This guy will end up going like this, but wait, we're not done yet. We have to do our LED. So this LED has been modified. Nothing crazy with it. I just lengthened the legs because my 3mm LEDs have shorter legs. Where's the LED they provided? So from the factory, my LED legs are 3/8 of an inch shorter than theirs. So that's all. And I kept the same thing, the longer one's positive. So reference our circuit board, A and K, anode, cathode, very simple. You want to have your longer one, your positive, go to the anode. And the only reason we're doing this here quick, we're not, I'll I'm not soldering this. This is just a test fit to see if I need to cut anything off those legs, or if they can just be that way. There. I think we're in pretty good shape. Only have to take a little bit off. On some of the pedal kits from other manufacturers, they have you put the LED in and then you have to line the board up with it, and it's like that's always a pain in the ass. Almost never works well. Anode this side here. Okay, yeah, I can actually trim a little bit off of them, which is fine by me. And get the strippers. Take just a little bit of that heat shrink I put on off. Let's see here, compare our size. Yep, that's about the right size. So, component side, longer one goes to the anode, shorter one goes to the cathode. Put this in the pedal. Let's see if I trimmed enough off. That will go there. Yep, we're gonna go with that. Yeah, because they can bend, do whatever they need to. Yeah, we're gonna go with that for now. I'll get this out of the way. That was for illustration purposes only. Always check your work. There we go. I do have a tip for your diodes. Don't do what I do and cut them immediately. I'd wait till you get other things fitted in case you have to remove them. All right, so the next item on our hit parade is our potentiometer. Is my potentiometer. I'm doing that R thing again. By the end of the video, I will get it right. Okay. This guy's gonna go like so. Got our little cap on the back of that to protect it. I guess I could have cut more off that LED. And there we are. And that's going to be as good as that gets. We'll find out that I broke it. Okay, what's next here? This one here We're going to do a double check here. I want to make sure I use the one that's always on here. So that's our okay. Oh, I just bounced my head right off of our whole setup. Well, I think we're kind of back in shape there. Negative goes, you guessed it, to the other side. I just put a bunch of pedal kits that I built, wow, on that big online auction site that starts with an E. And I said, hey, I'm not looking to really get anything out of this, just make a couple bucks and buy a few other kits. And when I say make a couple bucks, I don't mean actually make a profit. I mean just not lose my rear end on buying kits and assembling them. And I'm still going to lose when that one ends. However, I do have to say that I'm pleasantly surprised that it jumped up as much as it did. Okay. All right, now remember, this is our one that is the ground, is the sleeve. So you can connect like so. Now, you could, if you wanted to, take the generous pieces of wire they gave you, cut them down a little bit. But I actually just want to build this the way they send it to me, with the exception of my diode change. And in hindsight, that wasn't the best decision. I should have just used theirs. However, he who is without fault, or whatever, right? When I first set up my shop, I'd see videos of other folks in there. So like, man, that guy's a pig. His shit's everywhere. Mine's neat and orderly, and there's no components where they aren't supposed to be. Well, what a lie that turned out to be. My shop looks like an absolute disaster right now. The garage is a disaster. I was out there doing finish work on things. And then I had to relocate those when they set up, because then I was out doing sanding work. It was all sorts of fun. Fun. All right. Now, I'm going to take the same wire. Well, it's the same wire, you know what I mean. Oh, so speaking of cooking videos and things like that, one of the channels that I actually really enjoy, his videos are like two minutes usually, sometimes less, but they're right around that 2, sometimes maybe 3-minute mark. It's called Sandwiches of History. So this dude, he's like, hey, what's going on Sandwiches of History today? I'm going to make this piece of shit sandwich I found in this book. And sometimes when he makes a sandwich that he's like, damn, I'd make that again. And then other times, when he makes them. He's like, this thing sucks ass. So, I mean, he never says it like that. He's a lot more, he's nicer about things than I would be. That's for sure. All right, can I get this switch to fit in there, or did I create a real mess with how I mounted that PCB? Oh man, I got lucky. All the other shit that I screwed up on this, and then here I am getting lucky. Now, just so you know, this pedal would not take you an hour to build. We're coming up on 50 minutes. You could build this, oh gosh, if you had no distractions and you weren't trying to narrate a video and sound mildly interesting without bordering on too annoying. And I think I've crossed both thresholds inefficiently today. You could do this much quicker. Okay, so now you have to make a few things happen. We're coming up on the end of this, and I'm gonna breeze through here sort of quickly. Another tip, this is something stupid, but this is just, when you get these little bags, it's probably worth saving a handful of them. I have a collection of little baggies. These labeled ones I probably won't use, but I keep a bunch of these on hand. If you have to ship components out, or you're doing work on someone's guitar, like let's say they give you tuners and you're replacing the tuners, you got to give them the old ones and the screws right there. Boom. Okay, so a few things need to happen here. You have to make a jumper on this switch, and then so this is going to be our input going to this leg or switch here. Oh, and the only thing that keeps your PCB in place in this is the fastener for the knob. See how it's a little bit tighter? Don't over tighten these. If you do, you can cause damage to your solder joints. Okay, so back to this. What has to happen? Our input has to go to here. Now, if you see our wire, and that's kind of cockeyed, but it also connects to this pin and it goes to this pin. I'm sorry, this pin right here. So what I'm going to do is, you know what? I'm going to leave the wire just as long as it was, and then I'll put a little piece of wire in between those, in between here and here. So I'm going to take one of the pieces that was provided and do just that. Did I cut that too short? I think I did. I did not. I thought for sure I did. I'm going to pull this just out of view so I can bring this to my eyes. And I'm going to do one more thing. So that goes there. It's another reason why I love these little pliers from that set that I showed you earlier. Just for lining things like that. But I'm falling victim to my own carelessness, we'll say. You'll see here in 1 second. There we are. Yes, that Sandwiches of History dude. He's like this. Okay, on today's episode of Sandwiches of History, this is a recipe that viewer 123 sent in. All right, that sandwich was rated 3 or 4 out of 10. I'm going to try and plus this up. Oh, I tinned the one side, but not the other. What an idiot. Here's what I'm going to do. You're not going anywhere for a minute. You're standing right there. Okay. But he says, I'm going to plus this sandwich up. And then he just puts random whatever on. It could be whatever ingredient. going to put potato chips. I'm going to put a piece of cheese, a piece of arugula, dill pickle, whatever, you know, whatever your fancy is. It's just neat. And you get some of the history. A lot of these come from, you know, old culinary cookbooks that you see the recipe. The one that I just watched, it was amusing. It said Egyptian sandwich. Okay. And Egypt, demographically speaking, is like 90% ethnically Muslim. And if you know much about the Muslims, they don't eat ham. The Egyptian sandwich was a ham sandwich, essentially. I mean, there was other stuff to it. And what the lesson with that one, I don't want to say lesson, but what the history with that one was that Americans we would use any name in front of something to quantify it. And at that time period, Egypt was all of the rage. So just a little something for you. While I screw with this switch and look like an idiot. There we go. Perfect. All right. Another jumper that needs to get made is from here to here, and I'm just going to use the wire they gave. Do the same thing. One of the things you can do, you can put your jumpers in prior to putting your wire in the case, and then you don't have to fight the case like I am. The Egyptian sandwich. Yeah, what an interesting thing. Now, I don't know if there's any science to this or not, but this is something that I think about on work that I do. So if I'm soldering something and it looks like the joint moved after I remove the heat or the iron, I guess would be the way to say it. Like, so I'm no longer trying to solder it. I move and I see the joint move. I just reheat the joint because I want to make sure that there's conductivity between the pieces of metal. And if the joint moved, it might not be making good contact. It'll be good enough when you go to use the pedal, but then you'll have an intermittent fault, or maybe you'll have extra noise or something you can't quite figure out. You built one, your buddy built one, everything's the same. Yours is noisier. It could be just there's space in between the connections. And you may be wondering, okay, well, how do you know what wire goes where? You do a handful of these switches and a handful of pedals, and you just look at the build and you're like, yep, that's how it's going to work. I mean, these are pretty much all standard now. Well, no, I don't want to say that. That's not right. I don't want someone in the comments to start bitching. What I mean is, for the most part, when you have a PCB like this, it's going to have a marking for in, ground, switch, out. You know, it's all going to be there. All right. Final two connections. It's going to be this guy on this switch. this guy on the switch also. And don't worry, I am going to cut the extra pieces off and get them out of the case so they don't lay across something and cause an issue. Pulled you off camera here just so I can take a look. All right, last two connections. You could cut the wire from these, and I probably should, but I'm not going to. I have a couple more of these to do too. If my day goes okay and a lot of things don't go wrong, I might build another one today. I have a clone of a Mad Professor deep blue delay, and I have a clone of a Boss CE2 to build. I've bought a few, well, I guess I did buy them, yeah. I've built a few CE2 clones, so I'm pretty familiar with how they lay out. And I could probably do one of them, mostly from memory. I'd probably have to look at an instruction sheet if I got really in a pickle. At the very least, a schematic. But the thing is a lot of these, when they make the clones, they make them like, oh, I did it, and it's, you know, a direct clone of that, but with this modification that, you know, Bob did. And Bob sounds, you know, great, so we're going to do the Bob modification. All right, we'll find out. Moment of truth. Does this thing blow up when I plug it in? Fire has not started. We have no light from the LED. Wonder why. Let's see if we have audio through it. This will help us troubleshoot it. Well, that's a speaker wire. That ain't going to help us troubleshoot it. I wonder if I damaged that LED, bending it. We'll find out. So this goes here. This goes here. What apparently works, so the LED is the issue. Grab a guitar. Where we at? Don't worry, this guitar's not in tune. Okay, so turn his volume up just a little bit. Okay. So this must be on, and that's what we have as our volume boost. Very low output. Okay, so this is active. This is all the way up. And then, wow, that's interesting. I screwed something up. Let's take a look. Unplug that. It does something. Let's take a look at our switch here. Whoa. This goes to ground. This goes to ground, so that connects those. I wonder if I killed something with the LED. Okay, they go to where they're supposed to. This one should also be ground. Yep. Is there a resistor in the circuit? Is there a resistor in the circuit with the LED? 4.7K connects to the output ground, ends up the center. Like 1 goes to ground, 2 goes to output. It's going to be a mess trying to figure this out. Very simple pedal. We have some functionality. We don't have all functionality. And why not? The LED is still in shape there. Yeah, this is the resistor that goes to the LED. Apply power to it while everything's out and see if that changed anything. Nothing. Very peculiar because even laying an LED across it's not doing anything. All right, so the issue then, unplug that. I'm going to pull the LED out and just see what happens. I don't think that was the problem, but we're just going to cut it. Oh, my toddler's up. I might go hang out with him and then make a part 2 to this once I figure it out. So that's part of the other thing is when I do this stuff, I like to Try and do it when he's napping or in bed for the night. Man, that is in there, isn't it? I have a bad feeling I'm going to have to take this whole damn thing apart to fix this. Fix the item that I just managed to break that I don't know how I broke. He's up there going, da, 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 ba, ba, boom. Okay, I wanted to use a blue LED, but maybe I can't. So what I'm going to do is just kind of install this. Must be Legos getting put away. On. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm just tacking this to the outside. I don't really want to go as deep as you can with it. Oh! The reason for that is I just don't feel like digging another one out. Oh, Lordy. Okay, that's enough just to test it. The problem has to be very simple because there's not much to this, so it's got to be just a wire somewhere that's wrong. Well, clearly, that did not fix it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference this guy here and compare it to what we did and see if I mess something up here on the input-output, because that could be the only other thing. If the LED is good, and the switch is wired the way it's supposed to be wired, yeah, jumper there, number pin 1 and 8, this guy here will be our input. Hold on, I think I know. Oh my. I think I figured it out. You actually could have it with the component side out and the solder side in, because it looks like I have everything flipped, is what I estimate. So if I have everything flipped, then what I'm going to do, oh man, what a mess this is going to be. All right, so LEDs out. Oh, this part's gonna suck. This part's gonna suck. I'm gonna do it this way here. Go like this. Man, that's bananas. What are you doing today? I'm taking apart the pedal I put together that I didn't make right. Okay. Whew. I gotta clean all this crap off of these in here. Great. Go like this. Here's another thing you can do. You're trying to get solder off a component. Heat the component, tap it. You can do that if doing something like jacks, where it doesn't matter if a little gets around. There's nothing sensitive in there anymore, obviously. You know, those circuit boards out. And all these pieces will just come right out. The trash, boom, that's done. All right, perfect. That's cleaned out. Yeah, I wired that exactly opposite. And you're trying to do that without tearing off the solder pads. Oh. I wonder if this happens to the folks at like JHS or Boss. Or if it's only me that looks like an idiot when I do something. It's going to be so much fun. The real fun part's going to be taking that potentiometer out of there. I'm off the camera, but all I'm doing is just cleaning up the solder pads on here. Sometimes getting all of the solder out of them with the pump is a pain in the ass. So when I can, I'm a big fan of tapping the board. And then if not, you can get your pump and cook your solder pad. And it's still not come through. That's all right. It'll come through when we heat it up. When I heat it up. Ugh. Okay. Got my work area mess here. Stuff everywhere. Apparently I can't solder today. It's all right. I bounced the camera again. I'm doing great today. I can't wait to upload this and then everyone will be like, man, this guy's a flipping moron. And I'd be like, yep. I needed this video to tell you that about me. I'm not entirely convinced this will be what solves the problem either. I'm having a heck of a time getting that through. I like to call my toddler Spicy because sometimes he's extra spicy and misbehaves. It's nothing bad. He's just a typical almost 3-year-old. Sounds like he just dumped out a whole bunch of stuff too. He says, no, what's that? I don't know if you can hear that coming through. There's probably no chance that anyone stuck around for an hour and a half to watch me screw up a pedal, though. I could probably be like, I will hand away some super prize if you can tell me what I said. And that would never, ever happen. And then someplace in 100 years, someone will finally analyze it and go, hey, he said that I could have, I don't know what it would be. It could be whatever. I think he wants to go to Sam's Club. I hear him saying it. He knows when he goes there, he can say, I want pizza as soon as he walks in. He's a smart kid. He likes pizza. All right, let's cut all these now. Apparently, and that, you know what, though, that actually makes sense because this here, you would flip it around. This would protect when it sits here. So the real pain in the arse, I'm probably going to leave these wires on. It'll still come from underneath. This will sit on top. Then I'll just try and get this off. Man, this is going to be real fun. Sometimes you can get real lucky. You heat them and you pull on it. And you can then you can straighten out the damage you did pulling on it. The good news is I have an entire stock of pots, and I think an Audio 100K would be in that collection. All right, so now time to clean all the crap off of this. Told you what I'm a big fan of. Okay, Time to get all this extra solder out of the way. Whew. If you have stuck around this long, I do appreciate it. It's very nice to have you here. I apologize that this has drug on for far longer than I've wanted it to. Does it want it to sit like this? Because I don't think that would. Don't forget the LED. And is this hole going to be big enough for their bezel? It's a great. The whole reason I started this with an LED that I put together was because I wasn't going to use their bezel, and I was going to use a 3mm LED. But apparently, that is not what is going to take place now. So, let's go over to this area here. We'll get another LED. And then, let's look at this bezel here. Where did I put the darn thing? I just had it. There it is. Okay. So how's this go? Just like that? Or does this go through this way here? Nope, it goes through like so. This just pushes in. And we need to know, will it fit this hole? It will not. Does it fit the whole pot? Okay, so that's the size we need. I'm going to go off camera just to do this over the bin real quick. See, is this going to be enough? Oh, that's going to be close. Boom. Just like that. I am a man because I used a sharpened bit to go through soft aluminum. And I did it with a drill. Yeah. That's sort of me being silly there. I'm sure you figured that out. Get some of this crap out of my way. All right. So now we have this ready. We have our blue LED ready. Go. All right, that'll have to work there. So let's get this potentiometer installed again. All right. Where'd the nut go? There it went. Oh, they're getting ready to go by. You hear them? What are you doing, Alexander? Are you being silly?
Hey, I got those.
What do you have?
Crocs.
Crocs?
Yeah.
Do you like to wear Crocs?
Yeah.
Are they fun?
Why are you working?
Why am I working? Because it's fun.
Well, you're down there.
I'm down here. Are you up there?
Yeah.
You hear him? He's up there talking to me. You guys heading out?
Yeah, we're gonna go to Sam's.
Sounds good. Is he gonna try and con his way in the PIZZA?
Probably not. Oh, let me get your drink, buddy. I forgot it.
We're over here building a pedal that didn't work. I screwed up, that's all. I don't think they know I'm still recording. Now, what I could have done is I could have used alligator clips and checked this, but I'm more of a full send kind of guy because... What was that, buddy? I'm more of a full send kind of person, so my plan is, oh, I'm going to try and fix it the way I think it's going to be fixed, and if I have to, I'll rip it all apart later. I mean, this is definitely not the way that you would troubleshoot this or put it together. But I'm being kind of lazy, like I said.
Dad, why are you working?
Because it's fun, buddy.
Why?
Why aren't you working is the question.
Are you working?
Why am I working? It'll be okay.
I'm not working.
Oh, you're not working?
No.
Be good for Mama.
In the
You said
way.
your pedal wasn't working.
Oh no, I'm recording me down here messing up, trying to make it as we speak.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
We'll be back.
I was laughing about it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. Oh my gosh.
All right.
All right, you guys have fun. Alexander, be good for Mom.
That was the UPS truck. You want to? I have a sweatshirt for you in the car. Okay.
Bye, Bigga.
Bye.
Sorry about that, folks. You guys didn't see it anyway. No one's watching me screw with this. Oh, and you know what's even funnier about this pedal than I'm screwing with this kit? This is how you know I just like doing these dumbass things. So you can buy the pedal that this is modeled after for like, I think $40. And the kit costs, I think, $40. So yeah, this is a good way. If you want to lose money, just build this pedal and not pay attention. So you'll spend 2 hours doing it when you could have just bought the damn model. I had a feeling that wasn't soldered. I had a feeling. Okay. Oh, I apologize. Okay. Let's try this again. So here's my intention. If this doesn't work, and I have this video, I'm still uploading it. Like, I just built this pedal and it doesn't work. I'm stupid. Send your guitar to me for work and I'll wire it too. I don't think that was in there right. Remember when I did this earlier and I did the power jack without the input jacks in there? It just dawned on me I did that. I think I'm holding this off camera after bouncing my head off it a few times. can get that in there without taking these jacks out. Come on. Maybe I can't. That's why you can't. Oh, geez Louise. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I'm about to just use alligator clips. Jeez Louise. I'm getting kind of irritated with this thing. That's the other thing I run into when I record these pedal videos is I find that I end up moving the camera without even trying to. Okay. So that'll go. Then after I move the camera a handful of times, I keep pulling the pedal to where we could have seen it had I not held it like an idiot. Oh. Okay. I just hit the camera again. Looks like I melted the jack a little bit. That's all right. Won't hurt it. Okay, now we're going to find out, does this thing work? Did I do it right this time? Is that all that needed to happen? Was it needed flipped around? If that doesn't work, then my next plan is to actually trace this thing out and see, is it something I did, or is there a component that's faulty? We'll find out. All right. Moment of real truth. My LED didn't fall into the hole, but you can see we are right now. Okay, so what I would like to do is, I guess we'll loosen this up to give myself enough room to see if I can position this LED. And no, you can't, not with the way that this is set up. Oh golly. I'm not taking it apart again, but what we'll do, this will burn my fingy a little bit. got it to move a little bit. Just need a little bit more. So all I'm doing now is just trying to get the LED to line up, because apparently we're on the right track. I'll be surprised if this LED works after I heated it up that much. Just seeing if I can get that in there enough, just like that. Now I got to get it with the pot. Oh, would you look at that? I have managed to take and make it cost more to make a less polished version of a $40 pedal. Okay, now let's cut those extra links off the LED. Get that metal out of there. Now the moment of truth. Okay, plug in this Temu amplifier. Sounds like it's going to do what it's supposed to do. So, plug in here. There it is, it works. I'll do an actual sound sample here before too long. I'm going to wrap this video up since it is now 2 hours long almost, 1 hour 45 minutes. The last thing that I will do is button this thing up. Here's the bezel for the LED that I had originally intended on using. You end up with a little piece of wire left over. You can save that or not. So there we have it. And in that case, that is the we, because you've been along this journey with me. Recap on this. When building this pedal kit, do not do as I said at the beginning of the video. The components will actually face outward, okay? So that's it. And we're a little cattywampus there because I bent the legs of the potentiometer, but inside that'll be covered up, won't matter. There you have it. There's a pedal PCB all points booster in a very haphazard assembly way, not typical of our normal work, but you also got to see me complain, you got to hear my toddler yell, you got to see me troubleshoot something. And there's the thing, just always check your work. And there's going to be times when you build things and you think you're right, but you're wrong. And you got to put your ego aside and go, where did I mess up? It'd have been very easy to just not make this video and then just make a video of the pedal itself when it's done. But there you go. I mean, that's it. This is real life. You got to see from start to finish, including a big why the hell doesn't this work. So that's it. I thank you for watching if you stayed along this far, and stay tuned for the video where this is actually tone tested. Thank you. You know what? You can watch me put the knob on. I like that it's like huge. And what is that set with? That's set with a Phillips. Or, I'm sorry, a flathead. I don't know why I said Phillips. We'll try it right there and see if that works. I don't want to go too tight. So max on the potentiometer goes to here. Needs just a tiny adjustment. There it is. Thanks for watching.